So let's be honest, most guys are wasting their time in the gym. They do a certain workout, they live super strong, and they're going to failure, but they're just chasing size and not the shape that they truly want. If you're just like me, who doesn't want to build too much size, but build an aesthetic physique, then there's certain things you must do. There's a formula to this, and I have just a blueprint. Being aesthetic is not about being big, but it's about building a physique that you can admire and a physique that's truly impressive. So remember, there's a balance of these kind of things. Like, yes, you can be super strong building an aesthetic physique. It's very possible. I've done it. But there are certain muscle groups that you must work and you must emphasize on. Because if you truly want to pop out that aesthetic physique, you gotta have a very good V-taper pretty much. You wanna have a tiny waist and you wanna have broad shoulders. Another thing that's gonna play into this part, guys, that I'm gonna talk about is nutrition and the kind of cardio that you must do. And not only that, guys, we're gonna end up with the kind of mindset that you need to have. Let's dive in. So the first thing that you have to build out of anything to even get an aesthetic physique that you can truly admire is you need wide shoulders and a tiny waist. That's truly the foundation of having an aesthetic physique, guys. That means, guys, you gotta do shoulder presses. You gotta do things that are gonna do some lateral raises. You need to engage this part of the shoulder. And you need to also engage the back part of your shoulder, your rear delts. That way you can have a 3D look and you can have wider shoulders, especially lateral raises. They'll broaden your shoulder and make it a lot wider, which is gonna make your waist look tinier. Another thing you have to emphasize, guys, is a slightly bigger chest, more arms, and as well, you want a wider back. So a lot of lat pull downs or any type of pull down movement that's gonna widen your back and build a bigger back. You wanna work out the lats a lot more. That way it can give the illusion that you have a tinier waist. That's how these bodybuilders look like so crazy on stage. Their waist is super small. Even though it's probably, looking the same, but the illusion is what's giving it. Obviously, with you eating clean and being in a deficit and cutting down, yes, you can bring your waist down even more. But right now we're talking about just the muscles you gotta train. Remember, you don't need to be super huge. You just gotta look good from certain angles. So you need to prioritize where you need to build. That's the trick to this whole thing, guys. So step number 2, guys, you need to master your nutrition. More than likely, you are gonna be in deficit when you're chasing aesthetic physique. From my personal experience, when you are chasing that aesthetic physique, you are going to be lean majority of the time. It's not a bad thing, but you really wanna pick a body fat you're comfortable with. So anywhere from 10 to 12% body fat, that's what I would aim for. So that way you can still have enough energy inside the gym and still work out pretty hard without you crashing out and not making it throughout the day. Because we still have a normal life, guys. We still have other stuff to do. We still gotta clean the house and we still gotta run some errands. So you don't want to deplete all your energy source just because you're completely starving. My advice to you, when it comes to the nutrition, guys, have a high protein diet. Keep your carbs moderate and keep your fats moderate. You don't want to go too overboard. You still want to keep some of your fats to be able to keep your hormones in good check. And you still want to have moderate carbs so that way you can have enough energy to work out in the gym. Obviously, if you're in a keto diet, your body's going to produce some ketones, and that's where your body's going to rely on the energy source. When it comes to a high protein diet, what I recommend is you go anywhere from 0.8 to 1 gram per body weight. But if you're truly in a deficit, I'm going to highly advise you to stay on the higher end and go for 1 gram per body weight. That way, your body, when it's breaking down muscle, it doesn't break it down as much and you have a lot more protein reserved to the point that you can still keep most of your muscle. When you're leaning out and you're in a deficit, the first thing your body wants to do is get rid of muscle and it's gonna hold on to fat. That's why we have to prioritize a higher protein diet. You wanna still make sure you're still building muscle even though you're leaning out. One of the true key benefits of even having a high protein diet is that you're gonna stay fuller for longer. Protein takes a lot longer to digest and it will stay in your stomach for a lot longer and keep you fuller for a longer time. Not to mention, the amount of protein that you usually eat in a meal is probably gonna be a lot less calories than if you were to eat a bunch of carbs for the same amount that's gonna keep you full. Carbs tend to add quick and you'll put on a lot of calories, a lot of unnecessary calories that you don't need, that you need to burn. So you will spend more time doing cardio, which is what we don't want. We want to make it easier. We don't want to make the process too hard as well. Step number 3, guys, you need to really focus on that cardio. Yes. So the cardio that you need to utilize is steady state cardio. And my advice is to go on the treadmill, put it at an incline, and walk at a 2.0 to 2.5 speed. Just keep it there. Enough to be able to have a conversation with your buddy right next to you and still be able to walk at a normal pace while doing that simultaneously. Steady state cardio has been shown to be one of the most efficient cardio at burning fat for a longer period of time without breaking down any muscle group. Remember, our goal while we're burning calories is to burn mostly fat, not muscle, because we're trying to hold on to as much muscle as we can while still burning fat. Cardio is one of those tools that you can utilize in your training. Remember what I said about tracking your calories and doing all that good stuff? You're most likely gonna be in a deficit. So in order to make your deficit much more efficient, you're gonna have to rely on cardio unless you wanna completely deprive yourself of food to the point that you're gonna be completely starving and going crazy. And we don't want that. We wanna find the happy medium, the right balance that's gonna work for you to where you're not completely starving all the time. This is why I tell you have a high protein diet. This is why I tell you stay around 10 to 12% body fat, because that's what most guys can handle, most people. And this is why I tell you to do steady state cardio, because it's much more efficient at burning fat. HIIT cardio can work, but it's not as effective because it will mess with your training and your legs are gonna be super sore when you go into your next leg day. On top of that, you're not gonna be able to do a HIIT workout all the time or HIIT cardio all the time. You maybe at best can do it like twice a week versus you can go for a walk at an incline or walking outside every day if you truly wanted to. And it's something you can do in everyday activities, whether you're at work or you're running errands. It works at any place of the time, and you can listen to audiobooks like how I do as well. That's my cheat code. That's what I usually do, and that's how I always listen to a bunch of books. If you guys follow me on Instagram, which is DaveLives26, same thing as my channel, you'll see in some of my stories, I'm always posting a new book every week that I'm listening to. Right now, this past week, what I got done listening to was 10X is Easier Than 2X, as well as Willpower. Those are 2 good books that I highly recommend you read, especially if you're an entrepreneur, or even better yet, if you have big goals that you're trying to accomplish and you're trying to understand how to accomplish it better from another angle. Willpower goes more into the studies of how you have energy in reserve for focusing to attack certain tasks and why certain tasks deplete the same kind of energy you would put towards other important tasks. That's what I usually do for cardio. I listen to audiobooks and I highly recommend it. Obviously, you can watch or listen to podcasts while you're on your phone, or if you truly want to and you can't stay focused, you can look at social media, even though I don't recommend it because you're just consuming entertainment that's not gonna benefit you whatsoever. Some of the benefits that cardio can do for you is gonna improve your heart health, it's gonna improve your endurance, it's gonna help you recover faster because more blood flow is happening throughout your body, and it's gonna build a new foundation of discipline within yourself. You know what kind of person it takes to make themselves do cardio while they're still in a deficit and not giving their body enough calories? Imagine still doing cardio even while your body is in starvation mode. Just think about that, guys. It takes a certain kind of person to do that, somebody that is very dedicated. Sure, you can make the argument it's already a habit for certain people, they're already used to it so they can stay consistent. But I promise you, when we were first doing that, any of us that is disciplined now, it wasn't like that at the beginning. We had to like train our body to do that, both for our mind and body. So the next time somebody tells you, oh, cardio is not being disciplined, it is. It takes a strong person to do that. And it takes somebody very dedicated towards their goals. And the last step, guys, that you have to do is you have to be disciplined. Building an aesthetic body is not the easiest thing, but it is very possible. Sure, to some people, it may seem flawless, but I promise you, this person is very dedicated to their goals. Everybody wants to be aesthetic, but nobody wants to be disciplined. Nobody wants to put in the type of work you have to. Nobody wants to track their calories, and nobody wants to do cardio. It's boring. You have to do the boring stuff to stay aesthetic or to even get the aesthetic physique, because there's only one true way of achieving it, You have to be at a certain body fat percentage, and your muscles have to pop out at a certain way. So you have to show up to the gym even when you don't feel like it. You have to train hard with intensity even when your body doesn't have enough energy. And you have to eat for your goals. Don't eat just for purely pleasure. That's gonna probably require you to eat the same thing every day and not switch up the meals. The reason I always advise you guys to eat the same thing all the time is because if you try to have too many choices, it's gonna create decision fatigue and it's gonna make your life a lot harder. Imagine you have to switch up the meals every time for dinner, and so you would have to keep the same amount of calories within that frame. If your dinner is always 400 calories, if you all of a sudden start switching the whole entire meal, then you have to make dinner fit to 400 calories because that's what your daily requirement requires. In order to make my life easier, I just eat the same thing. The only type of switching that I do nowadays is either having chicken or steak. Every now and then I'll have ground beef. But even then, like, I still eat my eggs. I still have protein pancakes. That doesn't change. I like it that way. I don't have to put too much thought into it. And so I can focus on other things, like how I'm doing right now, recording my videos, edit my videos, and go work out. See how much more efficient that actually is for a person? They could just get in, get out, and focus on things that actually matter. Remember what I said about 80 to 20% rule? 20% of the decisions that you make give you 80% of the results. That means because you're tracking and because you kept the food the same and you kept the choices to a minimum, it's gonna give you long-lasting rewards to where the calories stay the same. You're gonna stay in a true deficit and you're not overeating or undereating. A lot of people's problem is that they tend to overeat their calories and they think they track the whole day correctly, but truly they didn't when they don't count everything. You could try to eyeball things, but I do not recommend it unless you've had so much experience and so much time measuring out stuff to the point that you can truly remember the portion of something. Even then, I wouldn't advise all the time, and if you're gonna eyeball things, do it every now and then when you're out and about eating with family in a restaurant. Because you can't control that unless you bring a scale yourself, and even then you're gonna be limited to the things that you can only track on that scale because you don't know how they're cooking that meal. And so if you order it and you can't track it, well, those are calories that are gonna go in there and you're never gonna know it. So remember guys, discipline isn't about doing the hard things, but it's about doing the same thing consistently even though it's boring. Being consistent is what's going to give you the best kind of results, and it's what is gonna truly give you an aesthetic physique. I had to keep doing the same thing, and till this day guys, I still do the same habits and I still do the same things. So what's gonna separate you from the average is realizing that being aesthetic is more of a mental game and not a physical one. So once you master all of your choices that involve your training, your eating, and your recovery, you're gonna be unstoppable because nothing will control you between you and your goal. Building an aesthetic physique isn't just about luck or just genetics. It's something that's very, very calculated. Remember, train for shape and not strength or size. Eat like your body matters and use cardio to support your look and as a way to develop your mind and learn something new, not as a punishment. Become the person that is so disciplined that you can just make anything look flawless, even something like building an aesthetic physique. So now that you have all the tools to build an aesthetic physique, if you want to know the habits that I'm still doing to this day to build a muscular body, then I want you to click on this video right here where I talk about the 5 habits that took me from being skinny to muscular in just a short amount of time. I'll see you guys in the next video.